What happens when two of Hollywood's most outspoken women sit across from each other and the conversation takes a turn nobody in the studio expected? The Kelly Clarkson show was supposed to be just another upbeat episode filled with smiles, laughter, and feel-good conversation. Instead, what unfolded that day became one of the most uncomfortable televised exchanges of the year, a moment fans and critics still argue about. As the cameras rolled and the lights came up, Jada Pinkett Smith walked onto the stage. Kelly, glowing with her signature smile, welcomed her guest with a warm hug while the audience erupted in applause. It felt safe. It felt friendly. It felt simple. But underneath that first smile, something already felt tense. Kelly began the interview with her usual charm, praising Jada for her openness regarding her personal life. But Jada's subtle shift in posture suggested that praise wasn't landing smoothly. When Kelly mentioned the bravery behind sharing her private journey, Jada pushed back almost immediately, challenging the idea that honesty should be labeled as heroic. Kelly, trying to keep energy positive, moved into the topic most viewers expected to hear about, Jada's marriage, her long relationship with Will Smith, and the challenges they had openly spoken about over the years. But the moment Kelly asked how their marriage survived difficult times, a spark lit. Jada questioned whether Kelly had even watched the content she referenced, subtly accusing her of relying on producer-fed talking points. Kelly froze, the smile on her face faltering for the first time. She insisted she did her research, but the damage was already visible. The air stiffened. The crowd sensed the shift. Kelly attempted to redirect the tone, claiming people were simply curious about real relationships and believed Jada's honesty helped others. But Jada saw that as oversimplification. The conversation shifted from interviews to intention, Jada accusing Kelly and hosts like her of chasing rehearsed narratives for entertainment. Kelly tried to remain calm, affirming that she only asked questions audiences wanted answered. Jada disagreed loudly, accusing her of performing curiosity rather than feeling it. The tension thickened as Kelly struggled to maintain her warmth under pressure. The audience, silent and frozen, watched as the interview began to unravel. Jada argued that Kelly didn't create a safe space, claiming she was being interrogated for ratings. Kelly attempted a softer pivot, offering to talk about Jada's acting and professional work instead, but Jada took that pivot as proof of exploitation. Kelly only wanted painful personal details until they became inconvenient. By the time the studio audience realized what was happening, both women were trapped in a conversation turning sharper by the minute. A conversation that would only get worse. The silence hanging over the studio wasn't ordinary silence. It was charged, humid, like the air before a storm. Kelly sat forward, her face polite but internally unsettled. As she tried to defend herself, she reminded Jada that her goal had always been to make guests feel safe, valued, and understood. But Jada wasn't having it. To her, this wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a pattern. Jada insisted that every interview she did turned toward the same subject: her marriage. Her voice carried years of exhaustion, frustration, and suspicion, accusing interviewers of ignoring nuance and replacing it with sensationalism. Kelly, trying desperately to regain footing, forced a nervous chuckle and said, "People simply cared about how couples survive hardship." That nervousness cost her points. Jada jumped at it, saying Kelly had no idea why she shared her story, and accusing her of blindly shaping narratives rather than listening. Kelly apologized for discomfort and offered to change the subject. Yet that pivot poured gasoline on fire. Instead of calming Jada, it proved to her that Kelly used personal trauma for ratings. Kelly's eyes fluttered toward producers, searching for silent guidance. But no one dared interfere. Kelly then explained again that she meant no harm. But Jada called her show a performance, not conversation, accusing her of entertaining audiences rather than engaging humans. Kelly, visibly shaken, insisted she cared deeply and had never exploited anyone. Jada pressed harder, her voice sharp as a blade, saying, Kelly made assumptions and played to her crowd instead of asking real questions. The audience sat perfectly still. Cameras zoomed closer. Kelly, breathing heavy, reminded Jada that no one forced her to be on the show. She argued that talking about her marriage wasn't exploitation. It was simply public conversation about topics Jada herself had already shared. Jada leaned in, closing space between them. She said Kelly invited her expecting compliance, polite answers, friendly smiles, promotional sound bites. But she wasn't here for scripted niceness. She was here to be real. Kelly blinked rapidly, struggling to find steady language. She reminded Jada that conversations didn't have to turn hostile. But Jada fired back. Maybe hostility was required when truth was constantly twisted. That line made Kelly flinch. Their voices were still measured, but the emotional temperature was rising. The audience would soon witness. Anger cracked boundaries. Neither woman intended to cross. Kelly's tone changed. The quiet panic vanished, replaced by something firm, determination, pride, maybe anger trying to stay professional. She defended her show, her style, and her intentions. She told Jada she wasn't America's sweetheart by accident. She worked to earn trust through empathy, struggle, failures, and real vulnerability. Jada didn't blink. She claimed Kelly only performed vulnerability, never actually lived inside it. She called Kelly's interviews safe, packaged, inspirational content designed to look intimate while avoiding real danger. That statement shook Kelly to the core. Kelly stood up, hands trembling as she insisted her pain was real, her divorce, her mental health battles, her insecurities, her journey. She said nothing was handed to her, that she earned success through sweat and tears. Jada stared up at her, calm and icy. She claimed Kelly had turned her struggles into branding, the inspirational singer who survived everything. Kelly gasped at the cruelty of the words. The audience watched in disbelief. Kelly whispered that she couldn't believe someone would accuse her of commercializing her traumas. Jada replied that every public story Kelly shared always came with a moral, a lesson, a message, never raw pain. Kelly countered angrily, saying spreading hope wasn't manipulation, it was kindness. The argument spiraled. Kelly called Jada bitter. The studio snapped with tension. Jada slowly rose, staring directly into Kelly's eyes, and asked if she truly called her bitter. Kelly tried to backtrack, but it was too late. Jada unleashed rage, accusing society of labeling outspoken women as angry and difficult. Kelly insisted that wasn't her meaning. Jada didn't care. Kelly then demanded the interview end. Jada mocked the timing, claiming Kelly wanted to end it only because she had lost control. Their voices rose. Kelly defended the show's purpose. Jada accused her of fraud. Kelly insisted pain shared publicly becomes answerable publicly. Both women stood now, inches apart, two storms colliding. Producers stepped closer. The room felt like an earthquake preparing to strike. Then came the moment that stunned even viewers. Kelly said Jada enjoyed attacking people because she enjoyed feeling superior in pain. Jada threatened the direction of conversation. Kelly asked if she was being threatened. It was only going downhill from here. The interview, by this point, wasn't salvageable. Kelly begged to know why Jada came if she despised the show. Jada said she wanted a real conversation, not a sugar-coated performance. Kelly said Jada was exactly what she expected, full of anger, incapable of courtesy. Jada snapped, saying Kelly pretended to be open to difficult dialogue but only wanted positivity. Kelly shot back that positivity wasn't weakness, it was survival. The room felt electric. Kelly admitted she was exhausted trying to remain professional. She told Jada she was tired of being attacked personally. Jada told her she was tired of being packaged for entertainment. Neither woman listened anymore. They spoke only to win. Kelly stepped closer and demanded respect. Jada told her respect was earned, and Kelly hadn't earned it that day. Kelly accused her of bullying. Jada told her she didn't know what real bullying looked like. Audience members whispered. Security edged forward. Kelly, voice cracking, said the interview was over. Jada insisted Kelly didn't control her. Kelly reminded her it was her studio. That line changed everything. Producers whispered into headsets. Someone on set signaled security. Kelly warned Jada to lower her voice. Jada told her to raise her truth. Kelly told her she refused to be intimidated. Jada told her she wasn't trying, yet. The women continued shouting over each other until finally a producer stepped between them and demanded they separate. Someone ordered cameras cut. Audience members gasped, phones hidden under jackets silently recording. Kelly shouted that she had never been disrespected like this on her own stage. Jada said she'd never felt more exploited. Security walked toward them. Jada pointed at Kelly and said this interview proved why she stopped trusting people. Kelly pointed back, and said this interview proved. Jada couldn't hold a conversation without turning it into war. One guard guided Jada off her mark. Kelly wiped tears angrily, refusing to look away. The show ended in silence, broken trust, broken format, broken expectations. And long after Jada stormed out and studio doors closed behind her, people sat stunned, knowing they had just witnessed a clash that would live in television history.